The most talked about TV show in Australia is back, Industry Leaders. Meet the people behind the brands we love as we celebrate the success of Aussie businesses. Find out who they really are on Industry Leaders. On this episode, we fly to WA's Smart Burn with a smart product that reduces smoke and carbon emissions and saves lives. While over in South Australia, Roof Seal was born out of opportunity as a father and son success story. Industry Leaders, brought to you by Annex Media.
Predominantly, I came through an agricultural background. I grew up on a larger scale wheat farm and I worked in corporate agribusiness in vegetable oil processing, commodities trading, futures hedging, currency trading, those sorts of things. And then I spent some time back in the family business and I'd been in wholesale and production, but always been entrepreneurial. So the SmartBurn journey doesn't start with me. The SmartBurn journey starts with a very clever gentleman called Peter Hutchison, who was an industrial chemist and a scientist, whose sister's house actually burned, blocked flue in a chimney fire. And so Peter, being inventive, thought, what could he do to introduce a product into a wood fire that might continually clean the chimney flue whilst the fire burned? So Peter was an industrial chemist and a scientist. He'd spent 25 years working in coal-fired power stations, so the burning of hydrocarbons and combustion was Peter's specialty, and he's an incredibly clever man. And so, as an industrial chemist and scientist, Peter invented the SmartBurn product. He founded the technology, patented the technology, and got the business started and developed the business over a 5-year period. And we need these fantastic minds in the world to come up with new ideas, new technology, and create wonderful inventions such as SmartBurn combustion enhancer for wood heaters has become. I'd always been entrepreneurial and the opportunity came along to invest in the SmartBurn business, and at that point my family purchased the business and we purchased the license and technology to take Peter's invention further to the market, and really that's what we've been able to do over the last 11 years. The SmartBurn is a metal tube. It's about the size of a sunglasses case. It's a combustion catalyst for wood heaters, so it's an additive that you place inside the firebox. You simply place the tube flat and level in the front corner of the side of the firebox and you essentially leave it there. And the natural non-toxic ingredients inside the tube melt when it gets hot and releases as a vapour. And it's that vapour that's the catalyst that triggers a lower ignition temperature and improves the burning efficiency inside the firebox. So the benefits there, we get up to 50% reduction in smoke emissions, a longer overnight burnout of the wood, but principally as it was designed to continually clean the chimney flue whilst the fire burns, and it will unblock a fairly blocked flue and then maintain that flue clean over about a 3-month period, which the SmartBurn device lasts as it slowly releases, and it will also help keep the glass door clean on a wood heater as well. The glass door on a wood heater is an indication of poor or incomplete combustion. So if the glass is going black and dirty, then potentially that heater is not operating at its optimum efficiency, which can either be a blocked flue or partially blocked flue. It can come down to the wood quality being used, wet, unseasoned wood or less than ideal wood, and not enough temperature and not enough airflow in that firebox to have the best combustion possible. So the SmartBurn will assist with all of those. At the end of 3 months, those ingredients that go to a liquid when it's hot, they slowly evaporate away to the point where they're all gone after about 3 months, and we're left with an empty carrier tube essentially, which we throw out and dispose of. So one tube will last approximately 3 months, which is of burning most nights in a typical Australian wood heater. The key benefits of SmartBurn, and that's where we're really proud of our contribution to industry and community, is the fact that it is a product, possibly one of the very few in the world, that you can put inside a wood heater to reduce smoke emissions and the carbon emissions that comes from that, and the negative public health benefits that we know and hear about wood smoke pollution. So the SmartBurn is our patented product, but it's completely natural, non-toxic, non-corrosive in a wood heater, so you won't see anything differently in the fire. You won't see it working as such. Obviously you can see a reduction in smoke over time. When people inspect their flue, they can see the clean flue, and for a lot of people, they buy the product because they want the glass door to be clean. And it's most important that homeowners maintain their flues clean and avoid the risk of a chimney fire through potentially having a blocked flue, which is a very real risk if a wood heater is not correctly maintained and the correct wood is not used. So the peace of mind knowing that your flue is clean, and there's a safety aspect for people that choose to use our product and therefore don't have to climb on the roof to take some risks to brush to flue themselves, is a huge advantage as well. It's also a product that improves the burning efficiency of the woods. The other one is this: people do care about the environment, people do want to be good citizens in their community, and by using the SmartBurn and reducing their smoke emissions, then that is doing a huge benefit for their neighbours and their community, and people generally want to do that.
Still to come on Industry Leaders, SmartBurn owner Glenn Fretwell explains how his proudly Australian-made award-winning business reduces smoke emissions and employs mostly local Perth retirees, helping make a greener planet.
Industry Leaders, we're here to lead the way.
That is one of the other really quite unique things about this business, is that not only are we proudly Australian made, have been since day one 16 years ago, but we employ mostly retirees, or essentially all retirees, in our manufacturing process, and it really is quite a handmade process. And I really commend that to business owners, because these people come with some fantastic skills from varying business backgrounds who genuinely want to work and are so reliable and so happy to have around. And it just makes for a beautiful manufacturing environment and pleasant and fun in the warehouse to have such an awesome team. So when we talk about consumers, for us, we're essentially an Australian business. Whilst we manufacture out of Perth in Western Australia, our customers are the whole of the country. So Tasmania, Victoria, Blue Mountains corridor, right up to Toowoomba in Queensland and further north where it's cold inland, southwest of WA. So all our consumers are very widespread right across all of the colder climates in Australia. So our sales and distribution process is predominantly through hardware stores, heating stores that sell new wood heaters, rural merchandise stores, stores that sell firewood, even chimney sweeps. So we've got just under 1,200, there's 1,170 stores right across Australia, which is all of the major hardware and retail stores. So we're super grateful for that, which is a massive network. We've certainly done a smaller amount of overseas expansion, a small amount of product in the US, a small amount of product in Scandinavia, the UK and New Zealand, but our focus is Australia. We're an Australian business, Australian family, and an Australian market has been great to us, so we're very much proud of being an Australian business. Yes, we do sell online. We like to give consumers an experience when they buy. If they're going to buy online, you don't want the box just turning up in the mail. So all of our consumers, our product actually is gift wrapped, comes with a word sleuth on the wrapping paper. It comes with our newsletter. We have a handwritten thank you card to thank people personally for every order. This year the card there, the painting on the front was done by my daughter, so that's really nice. And Chloe worked in our business last year while she was doing first year university through the COVID situation, which changed things a bit. Our son Samuel, he helps with a lot of the manufacturing and box making and things like that, which is great for a teenager to be able to contribute in a family business as well. The challenge for us is when you've got a product that's a little bit different, that's a little bit unique, and people are not quite sure how it works or what it does. When you've got nearly 1,200 stores across the country and you've got all of the staff in those stores who are so fantastic at getting behind the product, but it's a big training exercise that when a consumer walks in the store and says, I want to buy that thing that I saw on TV that goes in my wood heater, not quite sure, then having them armed with the right information to promote your product at a store level, that's probably where the challenge lies. We also spend a lot of time educating people around operation of wood heaters. You have to use dry wood. You have to keep lots of airflow through the fire. You have to keep an eye on your flue maintenance and the cleanliness of the flue and that operation. So we do invest in educating people and giving good technical advice around what's happening with wood heaters and keeping people abreast of changes of standards, changes of legislation, things to do with heaters design and things like that. Whilst we're not involved in manufacturing of heaters, it's nice to be able to be a resource to people for the betterment of the industry. We've worked very successfully, and I really need to credit two people in particular through our processes. An external marketing consultant, Brett Williams at Response Marketing, who has coached us with some really fundamental marketing processes that we can use in the business, getting our messages right, getting our point of sales materials right, getting our communications to stores and setting up a marketing plan and executing that. And then I have to give enormous credit to a lady called Lisa Horton, who has been on our team for 9 years, who had huge energy and drive at executing that plan, initiative, commercial outlook and fantastic nature with customers to really drive that sales, that marketing, that customer presentation of the business. Huge credit to Brett and Lisa through the journey that Smartburn has had. For a business to have 72 awards is incredibly humbling, and it's a real honour. And it really, the credit again goes back to Peter, the inventor of the technology of this product. Peter really aimed for those awards in the early days of the business when really the product first came to market, and it really was very innovative. But there's some incredibly prestigious awards amongst those: Telstra Business Awards, Australian Clean Technology Awards, Banksia Awards. We're super grateful for how that has benefited our business. Everybody loves the fire, everybody loves the romance of a fire, but there is a negative aspect through smoke pollution. And we have a unique opportunity to really educate the industry and provide a technology solution, and we really want to be known as making a massive contribution to that reduction in smoke emissions and the public health benefit that comes from that in wood heating. And we're so thankful and grateful that we've had thousands and thousands of customers over so many years that choose to use our product in their wood heater, and we're so grateful for all of their support that they give us each year. It's absolutely fantastic.
You are watching Industry Leaders. Coming up, Roof Seal's David and James Tye explain how they grew the business interstate in Australia, creating milestones along the way, expanding on their core business and the importance of quality control.
Industry leaders, we're here to lead the way.
This wasn't necessarily a business born out of necessity, it was a business that was born out of opportunity, and it was a business that was started by a guy in Melbourne. Then we had the recession, and that was about 1992, and at that point Roof Seal took over the company that I worked for. The recession that we had to have continued, and I made the offer to take over a division of the company that was unprofitable, and then I started to own divisions of that company progressively in 93 through 95, and eventually took over Roof Seal in Melbourne.
Started my career was with SA Government. I wanted a sea change, so I moved overseas for a couple of years and came back. Didn't know what I wanted to do, so Dad said, well, come work for me for a short term until you work out what you really want to do.
He came back from overseas and told me he wouldn't mind getting his hands dirty, so we put him into the paint factory, because if he was going to have a future with the company, he needed to know right from scratch.
Then I actually started really at the grassroots of the business. I started off as a yard sweeper, tidying the offices around, doing handyman stuff. And then I went into production of our coating system. And then I moved into more of a trade division, managing the trades. And then I moved into the marketing manager position. That was kind of an evolution to get to know all of the business and how all the divisions work. I then know how the business operates and what each division needs to do to be successful.
So he's been successful in every step that he's done. Then it came time for him to step up and take over the Adelaide operation.
A big win for me was when I took over as estate manager and director from my father. I was quite scared of when I took on that role, but to be able to take it over and grow it and develop it from where it was, I'm quite proud of that personally. I guess communicating that fear with my team members and building a really good base around myself of people who I could trust and work with. Changing and how do we change and how do we grow and how do we develop together. So it's about communicating that with staff and family and friends who, support myself to get that result. Another milestone we had was that we were awarded Australia's Best Roof Restoration Company in 2017.
As we've been successful in handing across the major operations to James, which are the Melbourne and Adelaide operations, it's been my drive that we repair and expand the franchise network that we have.
So our core business obviously is roof restoration, but we do also do re-roofing and plumbing, so guttering and downpipes. We do a gutter guard protection system. We also do roller shutter for external windows and outdoor blinds. They just go hand in hand with obviously the home. Our main point of difference is that we manufacture our own coatings, which is called Elemex. We only supply to ourselves. It's not a retail product, so we only supply and manufacture for ourselves.
We retain for 7 years a liquid sample of every batch that we produce, and that is in case there be any defect with the roof. We can actually trace to that batch, we can trace from the roof to the batch, we can give that liquid sample to our paint chemist and he can analyse as to whether there's any defect with that coating. So that we've basically over the years perfected our coatings. We know exactly what goes into the coatings and there are no shortcuts. We really do try to have it be a happy experience for the client. To be sure of the service that the client's going to receive, we have what we call bonded tradesmen. These are tradesmen that have contributed their own capital to basically say that they're going to do an excellent job and they're going to abide by the standards that RoofSeal dictate. And it came about because of the high transient type of people that were attracted to the roof restoration industry, where they were considerably fly-by-night, and some of those people are still around. And this brought in our organisation ethics and credibility to the trade side, so that they will do exactly what they're supposed to on the roof. They won't cut corners and they'll do an exceptional job. Once the job is completed, we inspect every roof.
We have a full-time employee who is a licensed building inspector to ensure that the service and the product that we're delivering by our tradesmen is up to our company standard and my personal standard.
Oh, and your roof is getting lost.
The seal was in a very primitive form when I took over the Melbourne operation. We came across a great marketing guy called Dave Cook and produced the seal as it is today. He came up with it. The jingle that we have that's so famous, and I've even had airline hostesses sing it on the flight to me.
7-0. Roof!
This is Industry Leaders. Still ahead, RoofSeal's David and James Ty and Simon Charlton share how one of Australia's best roof restoration companies with that famous jingle survived the pandemic and came out the other side.
Industry leaders, we're here to lead the way.
I started in 1987. I left school as a 16-year-old lad with not much desire or want to do, or not knowing what I was going to do. So I joined a company called RoofSeal. I sort of was on the road booking appointments door to door for the first 3 years of my life. and then I became in the sales area from 1990. In 2000 I was appointed the State Sales Manager. In 2010 I was appointed in a national role, setting up franchises on the eastern seaboard of Australia. It's a very unique system that RoofSeal formulated. It is a free roof inspection. Predominantly the work that we do here at RoofSeal is roof restoration, which is roof restoration, a restoration process I should say, on a cement, terracotta or an iron surface. And what we provide is a 33-point roof inspection along with a verbal report. So what we actually are able to provide for the homeowner is some opinions and recommendations to their needs and requirements, and then it's up to that homeowner to work with one of our technicians or inspectors to work out what suits them best, and then from there we work out pricing and step forward accordingly. The guarantee period when we complete a roof restoration is for 7 years. The benefit there for the homeowner is that the 7-year guarantee covers the workmanship carried out, and in South Australia and Victoria we normally use bonded tradesmen, so that's a benefit to the homeowner, and we're exploring that in other states as we sit here today. Also the good thing is that the flexible acrylic compound that we use on the ridge capping and the coating systems, Elemex coating systems, using solid oxides, gives that homeowner a chance to have something that they don't have to actually worry about for another 15 or 20 years. A lot of roofs cannot be restored if they will not take to a high pressure clean at 2,500 to 3,000 PSI, because you'll cause more damage and obviously could cause issues with inside the home. So if a roof, a cement roof or a terracotta roof is too brittle or too weathered, it won't be able to go through the restoration process. So then we would offer that homeowner in that regard a new roof, whether it be tiles or whether it be filters, steel roofing products that we get through BlueScope.
Yeah, we try to support charities in different ways. We've done Youth Opportunity, which is dear to our hearts, which is a charity that supports school kids that may have whatever issue. Probably the most significant one where we were able to help was to do with prostate cancer. We also have done letterbox drops where our direct marketing people have promoted prostate cancer should be checked out. And the wonderful thing is that the media have come on board and substantially promoted that you should get yourself checked. We've also done the SES. There's also been the Make-A-Wish Foundation. There's also been Beyond Blue that we've done. There's probably one or two that I've missed. COVID has certainly impacted us terribly in Melbourne, and it's prevented us giving the type of service in Melbourne that we would like to, but we'll get on top of it.
We definitely did make some huge adjustments. In Victoria, I completely shut down the Victorian office and transferred all of the phones and all the contacts into South Australia, and had all the calls coming through the call centre here so that we could manage it on a national level and still keep that customer service up with our client base.
Yes, we had less staff because we were going into precautionary measures with the business about were we going to be able to stabilise, were we going to be able to survive through COVID. So it was testing times, and then when the phone's calling 3 or 4 times as many times as what it normally is through a day, and you've got lack of staff, it became evident to us that people were at home looking at issues around the home and then calling us to help them out. Understanding where COVID came for us, and for everybody, which was the end of March, that was leading into our winter period, and we were already very, very busy leading into winter to try and get those homes finalised and fixed and sorted for the homeowner. So to have the multiple inquiries keep coming in day after day for about a 6-week period through that April-May period when people were working at home wanting roofing work done came quite a task. But we've been very lucky though. We've been very, very fortunate being a market leader for 30 plus years and having a product and the culture of this company about looking after that homeowner that actually helps us being front of line when people think that they have a roofing issue that they need to attend to. RoofSeal in South Australia would complete 25 roof restorations a week, subject to good weather. Nationally, we would complete somewhere around 45 to 60 roof restorations a week, if the weather will allow us to, with our coating systems and with the flexible acrylic compound that we have to put on the ridge capping that has to set over a period of a couple of hours, but we would complete up to 60 roof restorations a week.
So we've survived the global financial crisis. We survived the recession that we had to have. We survived the introduction of GST, which put everything up 10%. We're surviving COVID. The reason is that bang for buck, as far as home improvements is concerned, your roof makes an incredible visual difference. So not only do you look after your asset by getting your roof repaired, but you also get a big bang for your buck because it transforms the appearance of your home to the rest of your neighbourhood. And that in turn causes your neighbours to then contact us. It's a self-fuelling industry which has been particularly good to us.
Next time, join us on Industry Leaders as we fly to New South Wales to uncover the origins of Dollar Curtains and Blinds business name, plus outline the Talk Shop's mission statement to make high-quality mental health care affordable for all Aussies.